Hey, everyone, thrivers and people who are dealing with high conflict personalities and narcissists. I have a really incredible interview that is going to be taking place today, and it's with Rebecca Zung. And we're going to be interviewing each other about these very, very serious issues in regarding narcissists and court. And just to introduce Rebecca to my community, she is one of the top 1% attorneys in the US. She's been recognized by US News and World Report as a best lawyer in America, as legal elite by Trend Magazine, and recognized by her peers and the judiciary. She's highly rated in family law, and she has the highest possible rating for an attorney by Martin Day Hubble. She's the author of the best-selling books Negotiate Like You Matter, The Surefire Method to Step Up and Win, and Breaking Free, a step-by-step divorce guide for achieving emotional, physical, and spiritual freedom. And she's sought after by major media contributors. Her perspectives are in high demand by for television and print outlets, and she's been featured on Extra, Forbes, Huffington Post, Newsweek, Time, Dr. Drew, New PR, Talk Radio, Good Day New York, and CBS Los Angeles, amongst others. And she's now based in Los Angeles, and she's continuing to serve through her S.L.A.Y Negotiation Program. She has a YouTube channel and a podcast, which is Negotiate Your Best Life. Rebecca, I am so thrilled to be connected with you today.
I am so thrilled to be connected with you too, Melanie. Thank you so much.
Rebecca not long ago reached out to myself and the MTE team, and we're so excited to really join forces, because as everybody in my community knows who's been in battle with a narcissist, it's no small feat. It's not a normal situation in a separation, in a court settlement. It's one of the most difficult things that you could ever face. And this is why I'm going to start off by interviewing Rebecca, and I'm just so excited to introduce Rebecca to my entire Thriver community. So Rebecca, to jump in and get started, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your history that brought you to this?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was never married to a narcissist or, in a relationship with one, at least, romantically, that I know of. But I have dealt with them in my personal life. Certainly, I've had a couple of, was targeted by 2 covert narcissists in my lifetime. One in a extended family setting, and one in a business setting. And so I definitely understand the personal side of it. And then on the professional side, I have dealt with narcissists in my law practice for the last 21 years, either as clients or as opposing parties or as even opposing counsel sometimes, unfortunately. So I've had to deal with high conflict personalities pretty much nonstop for many, many years. It was really having gone through it on a personal level that made me start researching narcissism and understanding the personality type so much more. And that helped me so much more in my practice. And because of that, I really decided I really need to share this information with the world on how to, because it was only then that I really started seeing movement in my family law cases once I started understanding the personality of the narcissist.
Yeah, for sure, because it is not normal. And I think, well, in my experience and in so many people in my community, a lot of lawyers, a lot of legal personnel really aren't skilled in this area. They're not. So, Rebecca, in negotiations, what really makes the narcissist tick? What's driving them?
Well, it's the same thing that always makes the narcissist tick, and that is narcissistic supply. I mean, they are actually pretty easy to understand. They're not difficult personalities to understand. They are exceedingly difficult to deal with, but they are not actually all that. They're pretty simplistic in a lot of ways because they're not incentivized or motivated by lots of different things like normal people are. You know, normal people might be incentivized in wanting to protect their children or wanting to have a nice lifestyle or wanting to have a peace in their life or whatever. I mean, normal people are motivated and incentivized by lots of things. Whereas narcissists are really only motivated and incentivized by one thing. It's going to be whatever feeds their ego. So, and as we know,
So true.
supply can come in the form of, you know, having the big house or the prestigious job or lots of money, the big bank account. But supply also comes in the form of control, devaluing, debasing people, degrading people. So when they go through a divorce, it's just the same personality type, but now it's on steroids, because when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're either for them or against them. So once you're going through a divorce, you're against them. So now you're the enemy.
Absolutely. You couldn't have put that better. I 100% agree. And it is so true. You know, we really say in this community that they've all come out of the same cookie cutter. It's, you know, I think all narcissists like to be unique, but they're not.
Well,
They're really,
they think they're special, and they want to, you know, they want to be treated like they're special, and they can't, you know, they have these grandiose um, thoughts that, you know, they should be treated in a way that's better than everybody else, and that
yeah,
that they're deserving, they're entitled in some way to that. But you know, when you're dealing with them in divorce, it just becomes so much worse, because they just want to take you down. They just want to basically burn you in every way that they can.
and it creates a lot of fear and intimidation for a lot of people.
Intimidation is one of their favorite tactics, especially in divorce. You know, of course, they still use their go-to favorites like gaslighting and all of that, but intimidation and divorce is one of their favorite ways to try to you know, exert coercive control over a person by saying things like, if you don't sign this, if you don't do it this way, you will lose your children. You'll never see your kids again. You won't get a penny. You'll be out on the streets. You'll be homeless. Those kinds of threats.
Absolutely. And we see them all of the time, even, you know, before we get to this. But as you said, it all amps up when we get to here. All right. So what are some of the ways, and I know the listeners are going to be really interested in hearing about this. What are some of the ways to disarm the narcissist? Some phrases that will work, you know, the different stages that will work in communicating with them, and how to express it, what to say.
So there are many different ones. And in my S.L.A.Y program, I actually have one of the bonuses that I give away is 50 key phrases to disarm a narcissist. So it's, you know, but especially in divorce, you want to be really careful, because everything you say, everything you put your hand to, everything you put on social media, type and send, whatever it is a potential trial exhibit. So I would
Yeah.
say when you're using phrases with a narcissist, just imagine that the judge is sitting right there or looking over your shoulder. And before you hit send, think, would I want to see this again on cross-examination? And if the answer is no, then you probably don't want to send it. So I always say to
And because
people,
a narcissist will use that.
oh,
Absolutely.
they're
They'll
going to
use
use
anything.
anything, even if
In,
it's totally benign. So
Exactly.
don't give them something, because as soon as you give them something that's emotional at all, there they
Yeah.
go. So the best thing as far as phrases is to take your emotion out of it, just the facts. And even if they say something like, let's say they send you a super long email that is designed to inflame you, designed to antagonize you, designed to upset you. They know how to push your buttons. They're really good at it. They've been studying you for a long time. So they're
Yeah.
going to say the things that they know will upset you the most. You're a
Yeah.
deadbeat dad. You're a neglectful mother. You never amounted to anything. They're going to say the things that they know will upset you the most.
Yeah.
But what I recommend to people is, in the emails, if there's one thing that you need to respond to, like what time to pick up your kid on Wednesday afternoon, just respond by saying, I received your email. I disagree with your assertions, and you can pick up Johnny at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Just like very matter of fact, you've received it. So now they can't say they never responded, because they're going to sit in court and say you never responded. So you could just
Great point.
respond and say, I received it. I disagree, and then respond to the parts that you have to actually respond to.
Fantastic advice. I love that. And I know a lot of the community are going to benefit from, understanding from a legal standpoint and from an emotional standpoint how to handle this. This is great. Now, what I think it's really important to understand the kinds of tricks that narcissists like to pull on people. So what kind of things, can they do that you've seen, Rebecca, in your practice? What do they do, especially during divorce?
Oh, I mean, just about anything they can, anything they can get away with, and even more than that sometimes.
Yeah.
They'll do ignoring court orders. They'll use the court system as their sword. They will
Yeah.
take emails and texts and edit them so that it looks like you said something that you didn't. They take
Wow.
parts of context. They
Which is
will.
criminal. That's illegal.
Oh, I mean, dude, they'll do whatever they can to that they can get away with. They'll use flying monkeys. They line up the people to triangulate and make you think that all your friends are on their side, that everybody thinks that the other person is wonderful. You're the one that's crazy, and they're going to say that everybody thinks, everybody else believes, you're the only one that fill in the blank, to make you feel like you're the only one that believes this, and no one else thinks that that you would ever be able to win, that you would be able
Yeah.
to succeed on this particular position. The lawyer that you have is terrible. The lawyer that you have is only out for money. The lawyer that you have is um, known for litigating and making things more difficult. So,
Yeah.
you don't listen to that lawyer. Or that lawyer has way too many clients, so you're not going to get anywhere with that lawyer anyway. Whatever they need to say, because the lawyer especially becomes a target, because they know that the lawyer is now potentially going to be in a position to control that person instead of them.
Great point. That's so true. I've heard that story so many times
Yeah.
about degrading the lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and the tough thing is, what I have found when dealing with these clients, at least early on, is that while they know that the person is a narcissist, they know that they're a pathological liar, but yet they still believe a lot of the things that they say. And so they'll come in and tell me, well, he said this, that, and the other thing, or she said that. And I'm like, well, that's not true. So you're going to have to decide if you're going to believe the person that you've told me over and over again is a pathological liar,
That's right.
or you want to trust me, who I'm your advocate. I'm here to,
Yeah.
get the best result for you. So, you have to make sure you pick a lawyer that you trust, obviously, but then trust that lawyer once you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, because the gaslighting, and they've already been working that on the victim for so long, is the gaslighting, there's the cognitive dissonance, there's confusion. But
Yeah.
I so agree with you, Rebecca. If you know somebody is a pathological liar and you've been lied to and you have the proof that you know that, don't believe anything they tell you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but the problem is sometimes that, the victims have been so traumatized for so many years. Their brains are like scrambled eggs almost. And they're
That's
just, they don't even believe that they can potentially be on the offensive side, actually get what they want, actually take what's fair. A
yeah,
lot of times they end up in my office and they start right off with, I don't want to touch the other person's 401k. I don't want to, I'll just give them this, they're already giving away leverage before they even
yeah,
start the
absolutely.
conversation, so that can be, you kind of start from back here, just getting them to a point where you go, hey, listen, this person is not looking out for your best interest. They never have. So they're not going to start now while you're in the middle of a divorce.
Yeah.
So,
It's so true. But there's such an emotional component in it, which is great because later in this episode, we're going to be talking about that.
yeah,
The healing emotional component, which is so important as well as all of the legal component.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I love this question. This is a question that I think people really want to know about. And I've certainly seen amazing results with this. Can you really get a narcissist to negotiate successfully?
100%.
Yeah,
A
I agree.
100%. And people
Yeah.
think all the time, don't bother mediating with a narcissist, don't
Yeah.
bother. But, the thing is, yes, the answer is don't bother mediating with a narcissist if you're going to go in unprepared, if
Yeah.
you haven't developed a strategy, if you haven't got your leverage ready to go. You
Yeah.
need to prepare for that mediation or that resolution conference, whatever it is, whether it's a 4-way conference, whether it's even if it's a meeting at Starbucks or whatever, which I don't recommend, but whatever, dispute resolution conference you're going into, you need to go into as if you are prepared for trial. When you are dealing with a narcissist, you need to have all your leverage ready to just spring on them and pounce on them. Basically, you're building an invisible fence around the narcissist, and you don't turn the lights on and let them see that it's been built until you're ready for it to be revealed.
Fantastic. And in my experience with intimidation and power grabs and false selves and unlawful things, we've been very trained and indoctrinated to be on the defensive foot. But when you actually get empowered and you are on the offensive foot, you do have great power.
100%. Narcissists, this is the not so secret.
Yeah.
Narcissists are actually the most scared little creatures on the planet. You are actually the stronger one. They don't want you to know that. They go through all that they go through, these smoke and mirrors, to make
Yeah.
you believe that they're the stronger one, because
So
they
true.
know that you are. They know that you are. They
So
don't
true.
they don't want that to be revealed to you.
It's the coward behind the curtain. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
100%. It's so true. I think of that all the time when I'm thinking about narcissists, that they
Absolutely.
really are that coward behind the curtain.
I love that, we're both aligned so much in understanding that and know that.
Well, I think, both of us have been victims, targets of narcissists. And I,
Sure.
I honestly think that you can't really understand it unless you've lived it. You've dealt with the gaslighting
Mm.
and the trauma, and you what the hell is going on, and why are they doing that, and maybe I'm the one that's crazy, or maybe if I were just better, maybe if I were just nicer, all of those things. Until you've lived that, it's kind of hard to even really empathize and understand.
Absolutely. And Rebecca, because we've now worked with so many people and seen the same formulas work over and over again, we know how true this is.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and it really is true. And so, but I will tell people, as far as going back to, the mediating with a narcissist in a successful manner, you
Yeah,
can't do it too early, and you can't, don't try the collaborative process. It doesn't work. It's just an opportunity for the narcissist to jerk you around. They get supply from jerking you around. So don't
absolutely.
so don't do that. And don't have your lawyers sending settlement letters back and forth. Again, doesn't work. They constantly move the goalpost. They'll they'll never, even if they send over a settlement letter and you send back yes to everything, now it's already changed because you did something wrong and it's your fault, and so now they want more, or they've taken away something they offered, or whatever. So that's a complete waste of time. But you can settle with the narcissist in the right way. You have to be very methodical. There's no magic wand, but there is a methodical way that you can do it.
Rebecca, that's brilliant. And I really hope that that can give people some hope. Now, now quite clearly, globally, I know so many people and we're connected to so many countries and different people that are struggling and having inevitably to go through a custody, a property settlement, or even a business settlement. And, sadly, all of these people can't have you as their lawyer. They can't. And they may be struggling to find the right lawyer who understands the intricacies of this and how to defeat a narcissist. And what is wonderful is you've created a program that people can access and learn how to beat a narcissist.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Tell us about that.
yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for asking. So one of the things that I think is really important for people to get is, yes, it's important that you have a good lawyer. 100% you want to have a good lawyer, and you definitely are going to be better served if you have one that understands narcissism. So inside my program, I do tell people how I would go about finding a lawyer in
Right.
your area, even if you're in Australia or you're in New Zealand, which I have a
Okay.
lot of listeners in your country as well. I mean, narcissism knows no bounds.
Yeah,
But
so
and I give a bonus, which is questions for vetting an attorney to see if they understand narcissism, to see if you're going to have a rapport with them. But
wonderful.
all of that being said, an attorney should just be a part of your overall strategy. You are the one that is in control of all of the information from which your best leverage is going to be built. It's going to come from developing uh, all kinds of exhibits and summaries from your text messages, from your emails, from your exchanges, from the witnesses that you have access to, from the social media posts that you have access to, from the financial information that you have access to. Your lawyer knows the law, but your lawyer can only apply the law to the facts as you give them to the lawyer. So I tell people all the time, yes, have a great lawyer if you can afford one. But if you only rely on that, you will not get where you want. There are lots and lots of people out there who've had good lawyers and have spent hundreds of thousands of
Oh,
dollars
I know.
and still not where they want to be,
Yeah.
because you have to be the one that develops the strategy and the leverage, and then you put together a nice package and you hand it to your lawyer and you say, here's your leverage, use your law to apply it and do your arguments. But you've presented the package to them.
So your program also helps people understand the package.
I tell it step by step, walks them through how to do it.
Yes.
So I give in the package. So S.L.A.Y actually stands for developing a super strong strategy, creating invincible leverage, anticipating what the narcissist is going to do and being 2 steps ahead of them, and focusing on you and your case. So in strategy,
Right.
walk people through figuring out what kind of narcissist they're dealing with. Is it a covert, grandiose, or malignant? And then I give a checklist on what to expect from the narcissist in those situations. What are they going to be doing? If you were dealing with a covert, for sure you're going to see triangulation. There's going to be flying monkeys. If you're dealing with a malignant, probably threats of violence, acts of violence, things like that. So I go through that. So that's part of your strategy. Then you come up with your vision, your goals. Where do you want to be at the end of your case? And then we develop an action plan. So I walk you through the steps of developing the action plan. Then in the L, the developing leverage, I teach people what leverage is, what it looks like, how it's used at mediation, how it's used in court. And I give like 30 examples of leverage so that people can actually put it together themselves. And then anticipating what the narcissist is going to do by knowing what their arguments are going to be, what kind of narcissist you're dealing with, all of that. Getting your arguments ready to shoot down their arguments, and then focusing on your case and you and your self-care, but mostly your case, because the trap you fall into when you're dealing with narcissists so often is, that you're just so focused on their bad behavior. Well, what about their lies? Well, what about the time that they ignored the court order? Well, what about that they didn't pick up the kids on time 50 times? Well, what about this? What about that? Yes, you're going to use all of that. And yes, that'll end up being great leverage. But you also want to make sure you have a really strong case. Why are you the better parent? Why are you entitled to alimony?
Yes.
All of that. So it's a
Yes.
4-hour crash course. I made it that way so that as soon as people hit that button to buy the program, they have full access to the entire thing. Because I know some people are like, I have mediation next week, I have court next month, I need something now. So they don't have time for like 8 weeks of something. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, thank you, Rebecca, for providing something like this to the world, because it is so, so needed. It really is. And look, I know that people under financial stress and I mean, I went through this myself. I lost everything with first narcissist around because I wasn't healed. I had no processes. I had nobody to help me. Narcissistic abuse was all about, back then, therapy and tablets. That was it. There was actually nothing really to fully get empowered. So, and I ended up spending a fortune on lawyers and solicitors and specialists, and none of it worked. None of it worked. So I know that a lot of people might be saying, well, I'm already spending so much money on trying to salvage my life. I can't afford a program. But yet I know in my own experience and with the experience of thousands of people I've worked with, that if you invest in yourself the right way, you're going to end up saving a fortune. You know, that's,
Absolutely. You save a fortune. A fortune. I mean, the people who are dealing with narcissists. So an average divorce in the United States costs 15,000. An average divorce with narcissists is 60,000 or more.
yeah.
So if you know,
Oh.
the amount that you spend on this program, you get back almost immediately. You have a return on your investment.
Yeah, you're going to cut your litigation down. And Rebecca, the thing is, your life ongoing. If you can get a healthy settlement, emotionally, spiritually, financially, you can hit the ground running in your new life. And what I've seen in my community so many times, that the people that actually invest in themselves with my program and heal and get through to the other side, they usually kick off better and better, better and bigger than what they ever did before, even
Yeah.
before the narcissist came into their life.
Yeah.
There's incredible spiritual, emotional, financial compensation that comes when you get self-partnered and empowered. Your whole world opens up. And that's what I love about your stuff, because it's aligned in real ways to make that happen.
Well, thank you. And your stuff too is absolutely incredible with, you know, the next step. Okay, you've gotten through the divorce and now you've gotten your final judgment. So now what? Now how do I get better? And that's where you come in and take the ball and get them over to the other side.
And also too, you know, Rebecca, you know, like we're going to be talking about, you know, my experience with people with court cases and things like that. And, you know, if people have got, I mean, the healings are half an hour, you know, so they can go through your program and get your stuff, but overnight they can be shifting out trauma and shifting in power. And we found that people that do that, even without your guidance, have had the most incredible court results and settlements.
Yeah, your mind power is so important. Just shifting and believing that you can actually shift
Yeah.
the dynamic, that you can actually go on the offensive, that you can actually get a fair result without being a bad person.
Absolutely. Harnessing your true power is incredible. But, you know, harnessing your true power with legal strategies, that's unstoppable as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, so Rebecca, you have a free gift for our listeners, which I'm so excited about. Can you please share what that is?
Absolutely. So it's the Crush My Negotiation Prep Worksheet. It's basically an ebook. It's 15 pages. I've had thousands of people use it, thousands of people download it. You can get it at winmynegotiation.com. So easy to remember, just www.winmynegotiation.com. Or you can go to my website as well.
Yeah.
Which is RebeccaZung.com, and much more information about me and my podcast, my YouTube, everything at RebeccaZung.com.
And your core program, your core legal healing program, what is that for people?
S.L.A.Y Your Negotiation, and you can learn all about it at SLAYyournegotiation.com. And I'm sure that you'll be putting a link to that as well.
Yeah, we're going to put all the links up with this. Yeah, and I know that people would be, you know, it's highly recommended, very, very keen to have a look at that. And especially those that are in the thick of things.
Yeah.
So,
and I would just ask, you know, tell people to subscribe to my YouTube channel too. I have so much free information there.
Oh, and Rebecca, that's awesome, because you are so generous with, you know, and I always love that about people that are doing the real work. They give and give and give and give. It's absolutely not just about selling programs. It's about, you know, being passionate. And even though our programs are so powerful, it's about holding and helping people, you know, on a daily basis, which is what you do. So, you know, thank you.
Thank you.